What's up everybody, Tendo here, and we've got an extra special video planned for you today. I've been getting a lot of requests to show off my gaming collection more up close. You see, I sit in front of the camera every day, and all this stuff is just kind of in piles behind me, and it turns out some of you guys are curious about what all is back there, and I think that's great. I've been getting the most requests probably for my controller collection, and there's been a lot of talk lately about my handheld collection. And if you look over here, I've put my whole handheld collection in one place. Now, I didn't do that for this video. I did that because we have a community Discord, which is just a forum where we all chat about all of our, handheld collections, all of our video game collections, what we're playing right now, etc., etc. You guys have heard me talk about it a ton, I know. But over on the Discord, a couple different members were showing off their handheld collections. And at that time, I got really excited and thought, you know what? I've never put my handheld collection in one spot. Let me go ahead and do that and look at it. And now, after a few days looking at it, I've decided why not make a video about it. So we're going to do that today. We're going to go through my whole handheld collection. We're going to talk about what all's in there. And then we'll maybe talk about what my goals are, what handhelds I want next, etc., etc. And if this goes well, maybe next week we'll talk about my controller collection, which is over here on this side. How does that sound? Do you guys like the sound of that? Leave me a comment below before we get started. Let me know if you'd like to see different parts of my collection, and maybe even comment below and let me know which piece of my collection you would like to see the most. Check this out. Alright, let's jump right into my handheld collection. We'll bring it over from the shelf piece by piece and talk about it. Maybe we'll talk about where I got it, why I have it, what other versions of whatever it is I might want. I don't know. We've got a lot we can talk about. I'm not going to go in any particular order. I'm just going to start grabbing stuff. Let's start with something awesome. My only 3DS. There's a really good story behind this. There's really good stories, really, behind most of it. This 3DS I found at the Goodwill bins. And if you don't know what that means, basically just understand when I say the Goodwill bins, the important thing to know is that I paid for it by weight. $1.39 per pound. So how much does this weigh? Nothing. I paid $1 for it. I paid less than $1 probably. And when I brought it home, I was not surprised to find that it didn't work. Now that also happens a lot at the Goodwill bins. The Goodwill bins is a place where all the leftover stuff at Goodwill's is sent and tossed in giant boxes and tossed around. Stuff comes out of the bins broken a lot. So when I got my hands on it, got it home, I plugged it up and it worked. It came on, but what it didn't do was stay on. It would shut back off immediately. And that was really frustrating. And I spent ages and ages and ages trying to figure out what it was. And finally, somewhere on a forum, somewhere on the internet, I read that these 3DSs have a Wi-Fi chip in them that goes bad. And when it goes bad, it does not allow the 3DS to remain powered on. So I ordered a replacement version of that chip. I took this bad boy apart, put that new chip in, and it worked perfect. Now, I would not suggest this to do it on your own if you're not really good with small electronics. It was difficult. It was difficult to get back together, but it has served me right. And what do you think I've been playing? What game do you think's in here? I've been playing through Luigi's Mansion, the 3DS Luigi's Mansion. And I love it. This is one of my favorite handhelds. It's nice and pretty and blue, and I didn't pay anything for it, which is great, because I'd hate to go to a game store right now and pay, what are these going for? 120, 150 bucks, maybe a little less. So that's number one. I love it. I love that thing. All right, let's grab some Game Boy Advance. All right, let's start with this one. It's a fake, but it looks really cool. I've had people walk into my game room and see this from across the room and go, that's a really cool looking Game Boy Advance. But of course, you get it, and it weighs half of one of these. It's real ugly. But I have a sweet spot. I have a soft spot, rather, for knockoff consoles, and I love this little thing. I don't know what it does. I think it's supposed to be a Famicom clone. It's got a Famicom port on it, but it's alright. I've never played it. It's really just for looks. And then I only have two Game Boy Advance currently. The ice blue one and a white one. And this white one's in pretty deplorable condition, but they do both work. And one of my probably biggest aspirations, I would say, for my whole game collection is that I really want every Game Boy, every DS, all of them, all the colors, and I want just a big wall of them one day, all around the game room, all the handhelds. And that's a lot. That's a lot of colors, and I feel like I'm at a pretty good start. I mean, there's a lot more of them to go, but I didn't pay for any of these, really, not much. because I bought them at the bins. You're going to see a lot of patterns like that today. Or you're going to see one pattern, I guess. The bins. The bins, the bins, the bins. There's some stuff here I didn't buy at the bins. But I bought most of it at the bins. Alright, let's grab the regular Game Boys. My prides and joy. Let's just start off with the odd one out. The green one. What were these called? The Play It Loud series, I believe. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure on that one. There were a few different color original Game Boys that came out. And I found this one at the Goodwill bins. And if you know anything about the Goodwill bins, you know that most of the time you have to fight for stuff. And when I say fight for stuff, I just mean you got to go get what you're getting at the bins before anyone else gets it. And there's a lot of resellers at the Goodwill bins. That's most of the people shopping there are resellers. I'm not. I'm a collector. I do not resell gaming stuff. I don't enjoy reselling gaming stuff. I want to keep it. I want to buy all of it and keep it. At best, I buy stuff to trade it in. So a lot of people at the Goodwill bins know this about me, and they don't bother me too much. They don't, they know when I'm getting stuff, I'm not trying to go resell it. So sometimes they'll have mercy on me, and we'll talk about this in a little bit. Sometimes they're nice enough to give me stuff they don't want to fool with reselling. But this particular one, I walked out of the back of a Goodwill bins, and this was laying in the bottom of the bin that had been very well dug through, and I just don't know why no one bought it. If I had to guess why no one bought this, why no one picked this up before I did, I would say it would probably have to be because they're not obviously as iconic and easily recognizable as one of these bad boys. So I'm thinking someone saw this and thought it was a knockoff and left it there, because there's just no excuse for someone to have left this on the shelves, because again, this was paid for by weight. So pennies, 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 pennies. And this is the one I play on the most. If I want to play a Game Boy game, original Game Boy game, I pop it in here. Now, these other two I bought at a regular Goodwill, and neither of them had these faceplates on them. And so I paid $3 for one and $4 for another. And I don't remember what it was now, but one of them had a game in it. It was probably just Tetris or something that would be expected. And so I brought them home and inspected them, and they worked fine. They were just missing the faceplates. So I ordered an original one for the one that was in good shape, because it still got all its stickers and serial numbers on it. So I've got a regular, ready to go Game Boy. But this other one, since it was in rougher shape and stuff, I just went ahead and got an aftermarket faceplate for it, and it's nice and green, which I really, really appreciate. I love the way that looks. I don't really play it much, but I do love the way that looks over on my shelf. Another big goal that I have is one of these days, when I get the whole wall of rainbow Game Boys and rainbow DSs, is I would like to maybe get enough of these to replace every faceplate with every color of the rainbow and have rainbow original Game Boys. You know what? That would probably be easier to accomplish in the short term than collecting all the other Game Boy colors. Just get 10 of these and kind of do a rainbow spread. I think that'd be great. That's nearing. I really want to do that. Let's just leave it at that. I want rainbow Game Boys. Let's keep moving. I've got 3 Game Boy Advance SPs. One of them is broken, and it's sad because this is the only one that has the backlight. These other 2 do not, but they all work great. And what do you think I've been playing on the old SP? You see the green cartridge. You have to know what that is. Pokemon Leaf Green. Way back. I say way back, like 4 months ago when I started this channel, one of my earliest episodes was fixing this Leaf cartridge. It was in bad shape, but I've been playing through it and I love it. But yeah, red and blue, and I need to find a replacement shelf for this bad boy. It's not hard to do, but I've just been holding off waiting to find one at the thrift store. I know a lot of people that find replacement shelves on eBay and stuff, and that's all fine, but I've only been collecting for about, I keep saying 5 months, but I look back at my earliest video that I posted that was basically gaming related, and that was right in between 3 and 4 months ago. So all these handhelds that you're seeing, every single one of them I've gotten in the last 4 months maximum. So I'm not worried about it. More of these will show up. I will find a replacement for this. It works great. It's just it's just not in a good shape. All right, what's next? I guess we can talk about my DS collection. I've got much more than this, but these are basically the ones that work. I've got stacks and stacks of them in a drawer somewhere that need repair. And actually, I've got so many of them, I threw a few out that were just beyond repair. So, a black DS and a blue DS. This one works, but it's got a bit of a funny hinge, but it's alright. And then I've got a blue and a pink DSi, and I've got, I don't remember which one now because I bought these at the same time. I've got one of them working fully and the other one just needs some minor repairs. But I love how sleek the DSi's are. Something about them. They're not quite as rounded as these DSs were. Just nice and square. And then my first and only original DS. And I can honestly tell you I've never played a game on an original DS. I need to get out a SpongeBob game or something that's appropriate to play on this thing. Because I've yet to play anything on it. But I've tested it. It does work. And that is my current DS collection. It's really slim. I mean, I guess you can count 3DS. But it's growing. Again, I've gotten all these in 3 or 4 months. Most of them are from the bins, and I didn't pay much for them. I believe I bought these 2 DSi's while we were on the road a couple months ago. If you haven't watched our footage from us taking a cross-country trip and thrifting, because you're new to the channel, go back and watch that stuff. It's great. It's just like 3 or 4 weeks ago now. Go back a month worth of videos. We were out there on the road thrifting, and it was awesome. What else do we have? Oh, yes. Let's talk about the PSP. Probably, I almost want to say it's my favorite handheld. This one has a funny story. Let's do a little story time with Tendo. So how did I get my hands on this Blueberry PSP? Well, first of all, I don't think it's called a Blueberry PSP. I'd be very surprised if it did. I'm just saying it looks like a blueberry. But how did I get my hands on it? Well, I think the story's funny, but you may not think the story's funny. I think it's funny because I actually ran into some people that have now become friends that found my channel because they went to the same gaming expo that I went to where I bought this, and they intended on buying it, but I actually got the scoop on it before they did, which is just, that's funny enough on its own. It's funny enough in a the world is very small kind of way. But the story of how they heard that someone else had bought it and stuff was pretty funny, because the girl that told me this story said that her brother was kind of standing around and eyeballing the PSP, and she said, and I quote, "This mountain of a man," me, walked up and bought it. Now this is funny because of how big I am, and this always comes up, and it's hard not to bring up how big I am, because you can't be this big and your size not dictate how most of your life goes. Because this gaming expo is funny because I'm walking around this gaming expo with all these little gamers about this tall walking around, and they all come up to like here, and it's already a funny enough out-of-body experience just to walk around in crowds and crowds of people that don't come up to your waist. That's already funny enough, but like to hear someone else tell this story with wide eyes, we're like, just this giant ape of a man came up and bought that PSP you wanted. So it's always just funny to me to hear those kinds of stories, when people don't know me and they describe me to their friends. It's always like that, because like I get it. Don't get me wrong, I get it. I'm 6'7", I'm damn near 400 pounds, and I've got all this hair, and I'm wearing this bandana, and I got this big low voice sometimes, and yeah. That guy. How would you like that guy swooping up all your Game Boys and PSPs and Switches before you bought them? You probably wouldn't like it either, would you? Now, this has been Story Time with Tendo. Let's get back to the regularly scheduled program. Now let's move on to the rest of the handhelds. Let's go with one of the maybe funnier ones. What is that? Comment below if you know about these. Matter of fact, comment below if you've got any of these. This is a Tiger handheld, a Tiger Power Rangers handheld. Actually, you know what? I might be tripping. Yeah, it's Tiger. I couldn't find the Tiger logo. It's so faded. This thing is really faded. Oh, I forget that it works. It's unplayable. It's so bad. I mean, it's so bad. But I love Power Rangers, and I have a big Power Ranger collection of toys. Probably something we'll have to do an episode on at one point. But actually, my Power Rangers collection is not on the shelf right now because I was kind of running out of room for some of the games I wanted to put on the shelf. So I put the Power Rangers stuff away, but I had to keep this because I love it. I played the crap out of one of these when I was a kid. That counts, though, doesn't it? That's a handheld. I think so. All right, 2 more Game Boys. This one right here was another find at that expo. It had 15 on it. Once again, the guy gave it to me for 10. It just needs a new faceplate. I just haven't ordered it. I thought maybe I would do one of those custom jobs here and put some special faceplate on it. Probably not. I'll probably make it look original. But yeah, that's my yellow Game Boy Pocket. And this was my only Game Boy Pocket until I got this bad boy. And this one actually belongs to Miss Hannah, who is behind the camera right now and making this video possible. But I like this one a lot more than my yellow one, and we've actually been playing it. What do you think we've been playing? You've probably already seen it. I've probably already flashed it, but go ahead and look. Pokemon Blue. This is actually Hannah's Pokemon Blue cart from her childhood, and there's not many Pokemon on it. She didn't catch very many Pokemon because she's bad. She's bad at video games. The only person I know is bad at video games is me. Which brings up another interesting point. Why is the guy that's so bad at video games making all these YouTube videos about video games? I don't know. That's just the way things are. Deal with it. But I have a Game Gear. This is one of 3. And this is the one that I have that is in the best working condition. If you know anything about Game Gear, you probably know that they don't really work very often when you find them anymore. Especially if you find them at the thrift like I do. This one works great except for the brightness knob has fallen out of it. So it's stuck at like 65% brightness, not really as much as you'd wish. But I have 2 more that have broken screens, and I've met a guy locally, another YouTuber, and he's going to help me fix some of those. We're going to make some video content about that coming up. I will have a much better working Game Gear soon, but it's still playable, and I do play Game Gear games on it. I have a big and growing Game Gear game collection. It's one of the ones that I have probably the biggest aspirations to complete first, to have a complete Game Gear collection. I've been buying up in-box Game Gear games. They're all silly titles, sports and stuff, but I've been buying up complete sealed Game Gear games whenever I can. I bought a bunch of those at the same expo. Are you sensing any themes here? And then, this one has a cool story. This is probably one of the single most valuable things in my game room. It works pretty great. It has a cracked piece of plexiglass, or just plastic, who knows what this is. Plexiglass, and I love it. It is kind of, this thing is, what would you say? It's very cumbersome to plug it into the wall and set and play like this. It has a separate battery pack that's attached to the back to keep it powered. I don't have that, so the only way I can currently play it is plugged in. But I do want to get this thing going and perhaps maybe even replace the screen with a new modern screen. There's a lot of tutorials online that show you how to buy some very specific reverse camera, like car backup camera or GPS unit. Take the screen out of that, replace it in here, and it works great. I really want to do that. I really want to put a modern, brighter screen in here and maybe even find one of the battery packs that goes on it and replace the internal cells in it. If the voltage works out and the numbers add up, replace it with some modern lithium-ion batteries and have something really nice and modern and be able to play Sega Genesis games on the go like I'm playing a Game Boy. I love the thought of that. That will be something that I accomplish sooner rather than later, because traveling with a portable Sega Genesis, that's a no-brainer. That is a no-brainer. I love this thing. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot to tell you where I got it. There is a guy that I have befriended at a Goodwill I frequent. He doesn't work there or anything. He's a reseller, but I've just become real good friends with him, and there's been a couple times that he's got something that's kind of broke like this, and for him, he has so much to resell because he's really good at what he does. He's a very brilliant individual. And so this was just something that he didn't want to do the work, and he knew I'd be happy with it, so he gave it to me. So I'm still just speechless when I pick this up and play it, or when I just see this on my shelf, because in the game store, these are not cheap. I think a lot of you watching will know that. So to have one that I didn't have to go break the bank for, blessed. Hashtag blessed. All right, so that leaves this boy, and that is obviously a handheld. You can't plug that up to a TV. I almost was not going to include this, but most people, I don't know about most, maybe half play this as a handheld. I never played my Switch handheld. I always played it docked. I don't know what it is. My eyes aren't bad, but I just don't enjoy this when I've got a huge TV in the other room. It's just much preferable. But I will say that since I bought this, I've been playing a lot more Switch games handheld. I keep Mario Maker in here. and I just lay in bed all the time playing Mario Maker. But like I said, I almost didn't think to include this, but it definitely should be included. I love my Switch. I love Mario Maker 2. I love all the Mario games on the Switch, and that's pretty much what these things are to me. Mario machines. I play Mario Maker and Mario Maker. I mean, I play a couple other things. We play some Super Smash around here. We play some other stuff, but this is probably, if I had to pick my favorite handheld here, I mean, the Nomad's really close, especially since, the guy that gave it to me, it's such a nice story, and I love the story behind this too. But if I haven't made this clear, your boy Tendo loves yellow. He loves all things that are yellow. So when he heard that there was going to be a Switch Lite that was banana yellow, he made an irrational decision. I didn't need another Switch, but it's yellow, and I had to buy it. Does this make sense to anybody else but me, or do I sound like a crazy person? So in terms of the games I have for these, I don't think I'm going to sit here and go through all of them. The least is definitely the Switch. I have like 5 or 6 Switch games. Like I said, it's a Mario machine for me. DS games, I probably have 20 games. I probably have 30 or 40 original Game Boy and or Game Boy Color games. I probably have like 80 Sega Game Gear games. I really like my Game Gear, so I've got a bunch of those. My PSP games, they're all right here. So there's only like 20 games, and then I have like twice that many PSP UMDs. I've been loving collecting these PSP UMDs, though I'm not very likely to actually watch them on the PSP. It's just a nostalgia thing. I'm nostalgic for that era. My little brother had one of these, and he would watch movies on it and long car rides and stuff. You guys leave me a comment below and let me know maybe what your favorite handheld that I have is, and then maybe put a couple spaces at the end of that sentence and tell me what your favorite handheld that you have is. Maybe even if you feel like commenting it, tell me what handheld I should get next. I mean, there's definitely some handhelds out there I don't have. I don't have any of the Neo Geo handhelds. Those are pretty cool. There's a lot of people over on the Discord talking about those. A couple people bought some the other day. What other handhelds could I get? I mean, I definitely want to buy a few more of these Tiger ones that I played in my childhood just for display. Probably not going to play them because they're terrible, but they're nostalgic. I almost more than anything want all the different colors of these. But yeah, comment below. Tell me what I should look for next, because I've got some store credits saved up at one of my local trading shops. I might just go buy a handheld with it. I don't know. You never know what I'm going to do. I need a Vita. I don't have a Vita here. That's probably one of the most glaring holes you've probably noticed. Like, where's this guy's Vita at? Well, I don't have one, but I need to get one. All right, guys, that is my entire handheld collection. I'm very happy with it. It is small. I intend for it to be much bigger, but as I said at the beginning of the video, I'm just a few months in, baby. Give me a few more months, I might double this. I really hope so, because things like these colorful Game Boys and these colorful PSPs, I want all of them. I want them all. I want doubles of them all. I'll probably keep the doubles, because there's nothing cooler than a green or a yellow Game Boy. Oh yes, there's a yellow Game Boy out there, and I will have it. Oh yes. I mean, this one counts. This one needs love too. I just need to finish fixing it up. But before you go, like I said earlier, definitely comment and let me know what part of my collection you would like to see the most. Let's talk about that, because I'm going to make another one of these videos probably in a couple weeks just to show something else off. I have had a lot of requests for my controller collection, so maybe that's winning out right now. But that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me. Before you go, join the Discord. Like I said earlier, we talk about this stuff all the time over there. It's where I get the inspiration for about half of my videos, because people ask for different stuff over there, as well as in the YouTube comments. Also, before you go follow us on Twitch. We are streaming over there like madmen. We've been playing lots of Mario games on my Mario machine. We've been playing a little bit of Minecraft, not as much Minecraft lately. And every now and then we stream some random video game that I bring home from the thrift store. And I've got a way to stream Game Boy games. I've got a way to stream a lot of the handheld stuff. Not all of it. Like, I can't really stream from a PSP, but I'm working on those things. We'll be streaming everything in existence one of these days. That's another one of my goals. Probably something we should talk a little bit about. There's a lot of random stuff. A lot of you probably know about kits and mods and stuff to stream from the DS, etc., etc. I really intend to do that stuff in the future because I'm super into it. But that's not what this video is about. Let's get out of here. Comment below. what collection should I explore next. Also, here on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that bell notification so that when I post a video like this in the future, you'll get a notification. You can come back and hang out with me then. Until then, guys, I'll be playing my Switch. But which one? I have two. This is such a first world problem to have. Which one of you do I play? Okay, bye.